Good evening, Bulldog fans. Welcome into the final week of this season's Coaches Show. I am your host, TJ Vickers, and joining along me, as always, is head coach Kyler Hall. Coach Hall, we went over to Tallahassee this past Thursday night, and despite all the injuries, your boys fought hard, but unfortunately, the Timberwolves came out on top. Let's get your overall thoughts on the game this past Thursday night.
They did fight, almost literally, which we knew it was going to be. There was going to be some chippiness. There typically is when you play Chiles. It just that's how it is. But I thought our kids handled it all well. They never backed down. They fought all the way through. Even when the game got out of hand, um, we played all the way to the last second, and that's what we wanted to see. Obviously, we wanted to win the game, but defensively, we knew it was going to be a tall task against their running game. Running back's very good, and they have a good offensive line. Quarterback's good. Fryer's a good player, good weapons. But then offensively, man, we exceeded probably what you know we thought we were going to do. I think we had close to 500 yards of offense. So Vano, Lou Jack, Cherry, um, taking the snaps back there, and and that's on a 3-day prep of doing something completely different, and so they executed it very well. Special teams, had a big play with the
Yeah.
return. Um, just defensively, as has been the case all year, we couldn't get stops, couldn't get off the field, but nevertheless, proud of the way they finished it, fought all the way through, played all the way through, gave all the effort. And so it was a close to a disappointing season, but again, the kids have shown up every single week.
That's absolutely true. Well, considering you had to run the wild dog offense the entire night,
That's right.
over 405 total yards of offense, and then the 80-yard kick return, like you mentioned as well, Coach. So you're right there at that 500-yard mark, like you talked about. But specifically with that wild dog offense, you got Jamarcus Cherry, Lou Jack Smith, basically taking turns, running the direct snap, occasionally throwing the football here and
Yeah.
there, where they did move the ball downfield. How proud of you were those two guys, considering the situation that they were put in?
Oh, very proud. You know, it's hard going from one position to a different one, at any point of the year. But going from receiver, running back to where you're playing quarterback and you're going to be asked to throw the ball some, throw some screens, throw it on the rollout. So, man, I just think they were very mature about their approach, their preparation, um, and none of them guys ever complained. They didn't question. They just went out and practiced, had a great week, and were very productive. And so that it says a lot about who they are as young men, their character, the way they play the game. So I mean, 400 yards, and you know, having guys that were out. Ty tried to play and had a couple catches. So was proud that he gave it a shot. So I just think, man, it says a lot about just who they really are and how they, again, you're not going to the playoffs. Circumstances have been bad for you, and yet they still continue to show up and went out and did a very good job.
Well, I just think it speaks very highly of their flexibility, the way that they're able
Yes.
to handle that. So obviously, you don't have a quarterback situation. You're going to put Jamarcus back there. You're going to put Lou Jack back there. Well, that's one less option. That's one less weapon that that quarterback has on that particular play.
Yes.
So you're really trying to figure some of the things out. Like you said, Ty Moses battling through some injuries throughout this season, and last Thursday night was no different. But he went out there and did what he could, and the Watson brother, how he was able to play for a little while there.
Yeah.
But it's just it showed the flexibility and the grit and the determination that they had last Thursday.
Yeah, it does. And that's something, just moving forward that you build upon and you take those things. And that's what it takes to get things turned around is that type of effort, that type of focus, that type of selflessness to where I'm gonna do whatever it takes, whatever this team needs, whatever position I have to play, I'm gonna go out and do that. So again, proud of those guys. I appreciate them. I mean, again, they played because once the game got out of hand score wise, like that was an easy time just to pack it in. Hey, let's finish this out, and get out. But they did not do that. So
Lou Jack Smith, want to talk specifically about his performance. Had a big game on the ground there. I believe he had, where was it? I just had 135 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Also had that 80-yard kick return there. Just want to talk a little bit about Lou Jack's performance.
yeah, man, and he played banged up. He was. probably at 75% best. His knee had been giving him issues throughout the week from the previous game. But I kept asking him, "Hey man, you want to get out? You need to, need a break." And every time it was no, he would stay in the game. And so again, that was that was a reflection of how Lou Jack has played all year. He really stepped up during his senior year. We had to have him do that.
Sure.
Last year he was in a rotation with some other guys. Uh, wasn't in there at times. Had some injuries. Even missed a game this year after the Madison game. But man, he's shown up every Friday night, Thursday night last week, whether it's in kicking game, whether it's running the ball, receiving it out of the backfield. He had a tremendous senior year, and man, his attitude was so great. Like he is a winner. He has a winning attitude. His demeanor, the way he carries himself in practice, like that kid is a winner.
And let's talk specifically about the kickoff return. Before we got mic'd up here and we went live on River Country Sports, you were talking about that basically all week you had practice, hey, we're going to kick off left, but then at the last minute, you and your coaching staff saw a little something on film that said, well, let's see what this looks like if we go right. Go ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so short week of prep. So Monday and Tuesday, we decided, all right, we're just going to stick with left return. So then watching a little bit more film, we see Guy being the Lincoln game and just going through those special teams clips. And both of them have a return right, and they both scored. And relatively easy. And so we had made that switch on Wednesday, and the first kickoff return they had kicked it short, and then the second, I believe it was the second one, they kick it deep to Lou Jack, and man, he hit the seam, great blocking, outran him. So kids perfected it. The execution, no blocking the backs, no holds, which is a hard thing to do for whatever
Yeah.
reason. But yeah, that was a big play, and I think that was Lou Jack's first. That was his first career kickoff return for a
Well,
touchdown.
he had all he close to had one a couple weeks ago where I think they brought him down like inside the red zone or right outside the red zone.
That's
So
right.
it had been building towards
Yeah,
that moment, and to finally see him get that one, especially considering he's a senior, like that was really cool to see.
yeah, it was, and again, Lou Jack is one that has been in a lot of different special teams roles, whether it's returning punts, kicks, punt block, kickoff coverage. He's done a really good job. So Lou is he's gave max effort and max focus on everything he's done this season.
Switching gears to a freshman that carried a lot of weight there this not just this past Thursday night, but really this whole season. Travion Fed had a really big game this past Thursday.
He did. Bono, let's just look back from the beginning of the year. Bono has started at corner. That's where he started the season. And then he went to nickel. He's played safety. He's played running back. He's played receiver. And he plays a wild dog quarterback. So that's tough for any kid at any age. But as a freshman, to be able to handle that from a mental standpoint, physically go out and legit make plays at every position he was at this year, like he is a very good football player and has a chance to be one of the best that have come through in a long time. And again, it reflects by how he practices. And freshman year is tough, just with the transition of coming from middle school to high school. But then when you're asked to play varsity all year, didn't play a
Sure.
snap of JV, when you're asked to do that and the way he's handled it and gone about his business, and then uh, when you do that and then you have to do something that's out of what you have normally done, you're going to step up in that moment and be ready. And he was like he was ready for that moment. He's a level-headed, cool customer with a lot of ability and toughness and talent. So man, he had a tremendous year and showed up and had a big game Thursday.
122 yards through the air for Bono
Yeah,
there as well. So yeah, not bad asking him out of a new role. And I was thinking about whenever you're just giving that answer a second ago. Whether it's a freshman there on varsity or a young man in college or a couple rookies there in the NFL, you try to limit their positions.
yeah,
To not have them lose confidence to be like, okay, we're just going to train you on this, and then we'll kind of bring you along the way.
yeah,
But you didn't have that choice with Vano, and that young man certainly, and I know we said flexibility earlier.
yeah,
He certainly showed his flexibility, and I love what you said again off air just before we started. he's already texted you saying, "Hey, I miss it. Like, when can we start working out or something like that?" So again, that just speaks to the quality of character of that young man.
It does. He's hungry. He wants to be great. He wants to work. He's not afraid of the work. Um, Going back to the beginning of the year when he was playing defense, kind of the outlook was all right. Let's focus him here. He'll rotate in when necessary at running back. But then when Lou Jack went down and he played against Gabi and he rushed for over 100, okay, this kid needs to get more carries. Like we've got a really good 1-2 punch with him and Lou Jack. Um, and then just everything like linebacker. I forgot about linebacker that he's played that as well. That's a unique kid that can do a lot all over the field. Like played linebacker very well against Baker County. Played this week. So just from a physical standpoint of playing corner, safety, and linebacker, like that's not rare. That's not rare. That's not common.
Hmm.
Like it takes a special individual just mentally, but then also physically to be able to go out and do that.
Coach, it wasn't a very good night on the defense side of the ball. Unfortunately, we
Mm.
won't spend too much time on it there. But just what made that Charles offense so difficult to slow down?
Started up front offensive line. You know they're really good. Big left guard. He's the best that we've seen all year. I think he's a USF commit, but they're good across the board. And then the running back's a very good player. One of the best we've seen. He's big, physical, good speed. Can run through you, by you, whatever's necessary. Quarterback played the game very well. Their play action got us a couple times. Fryer's a very good receiver. Again, he's probably top 2 or 3 that we've seen all year. So they had very good players on offense. And once we got in that hole early, and we'd get them in the second long or third and long, and they couldn't get off the field. So we knew it was going to be a tall task, and we had a couple linebackers out. Hunter was out that first half, so those things didn't help.
Yeah.
But to their credit, man, they've really done that all year offensively against every team they have played. But in order to have won that game, we were going to have to play much better, get some stops. Because we scored the ball probably better than we thought we would, but just could never really get a stop defensively.
Plenty more coming up here on the Coach Show. For now, let's get into a commercial break.
You were there at the beginning. You stood behind me, guiding me through good times and bad, teaching me lessons I wouldn't appreciate until later, preparing me for the day when you couldn't be here. What you've given me, I'll carry wherever I go. And because of your planning, I know I'll go far.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Farm Bureau Insurance, serving Florida for over 70 years. In Suwannee County, you'll find Farm Bureau in Branford and in Live Oak. In Branford on Drain Street, phone 935-1274. And in Live Oak on Dowling Avenue, call 362-1274. Real service, real people, Farm Bureau Insurance.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Van Carpet One. For 78 years, we've been your local family-owned and operated floor covering store, and we can't wait to serve you. Let's go check out some of the stuff we've got and say hey to the guys.
Hey guys, this is Michael Van here at Van Carpet One. Wanted to show you our huge display of carpet. Got about 1,000 rolls for you that we can order. We also keep about 100 in stock that are on clearance, so please come down and give us a visit. We appreciate it.
Come in and see the largest tile collection in North Florida. Van Carpet One has every tile you could possibly imagine. If you can't find it here, they don't make it. Guys, take a look at this. This is just some of our options in waterproof vinyl plank, where we have the largest selection anywhere around here, including over 70 pallets in stock, ready to go right now. Come in and see our fantastic selection of elegant hardwood too, followed up by fantastic service that you expect from a company like Van Carpet One.
Come on in and see us.
We can't wait to serve you. And that's a boom shakalak.
Coach, despite all the adversity this team faced, close games, injuries, just tough breaks in general, they, like you said, they never quit fighting, and quite literally maybe didn't quit fighting on
Yep.
Thursday night. But nonetheless, it's tough to look at a 1-9 season and try to take some positives away from it. But what did you see from this group, and considering that they would not stop competing?
Yeah. So you always want to take like there's always something positive that you take. Like the old saying, when you watch, when you come off of a Friday night, like it's never as good as you think and it's never as bad as you think. Like there's always something that you did better than maybe what you thought. And there's always something, you know what, we didn't do that very well. Like we've got to improve that. And so, like if you take the big overall look at the year, um, there's a lot of good moments, and we did a lot of things that you know kind of put us in a place to win the game. But there were just far too many moments where we did things that hurt us and prevented us from winning the game. And that starts with me as the head coach. That's all of our coaches. That's every player. That's everybody involved with what we do. Like we didn't get it done. Like we can boil it down however you want to. At the end of the day, we didn't get it done, and we had many opportunities, um, especially the important ones, the district games. Like we had every opportunity in the fourth quarter with a chance to win that game. Like the margin, and we talked about this at Pickett Lake, the margin of difference between 0-3 in the district and district champs is a combination of about 10 to 15 plays
Really
combined.
is. Yeah.
And we didn't make those plays. We didn't coach well enough in those plays. We didn't execute. We didn't put our kids or have them with the confidence in order to make those plays. Um, but with all that said, and the tough losses, because losses they're hard at any time in any fashion. But when you lose the close ones like those sting, and then you continue to get stung. So at some point, as a coach, the thought is always, all right, when are these guys, like when are they going to pack it in? Like when are they going to
Mhm.
start practicing lackadaisical? When are they going to start not playing hard on Friday? But they never did that. They continued to show up, which even adds to the frustration
Yeah.
of, man, like they're playing hard, which playing hard is not the standard. Like that's part of what we have to do. So I'm not in the business of overly celebrating playing hard because that's something you just have
Sure.
to do. Like you got to play hard. You have to give a good effort. So we're not going to drop the standard and celebrate just showing up because I don't want to say anybody can show because we're a roster of 40, 45 players. So there's a limited amount of guys that can do this and are willing to do this. So in that aspect of it, I'm very proud. But we're not going to drop the standard of showing up and playing hard and playing with great effort. Like that's okay and that's good enough, and that will never be accepted. You know, of Suwannee football and while I'm here. So now we've got to figure out how we get back and turn this around to getting their confidence of making those plays. And there's going to have to be things that we do different. It's got to look different in practice. It's got to look different on Friday night. Um, and you know what? You may lose some along the way as far as kids. We live in a day and age,
Mhm.
and I'm even seeing it at the end of seasons now where guys are leaving teams to join another team to play in the
That's
playoffs.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I can think of 3 examples in this past weekend of guys that are doing that. So you may lose some, and that's okay. Like that's the day and age that we live in. But the guys that are here, like we're going to continue to work and we're going to do things at a high level in the right way. There's going to be, and there has to be more accountability, and I've got to do a better job of that, of the small things. Like, and that's when you really watch our games. That's what we didn't do well. We didn't do the small things well. So again, showing up, effort, playing hard, competing, never backing down. Like, man, our guys did that. And you go out and watch our games, man. We'd have spurts, man. We looked like a daggone really good team, and then we'd have just too many moments. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's not what we've worked on.
Mhm.
This is not where we're supposed to be. So that's when you work with high school kids, at times that's going to happen, especially when you have some young kids that are in there probably earlier than
Yeah.
you would expect, whether it's injuries or lack of depth. When you have a lot of sophomores in there, you're going to go through some bumps and bruises and some growing pains. Like that's as long as I've been around football, like that's you're going to have the exceptions. Yes, that sophomore, freshman, they're ready to play, but a lot of times that sophomore year, these guys are still transitioning from a JV to varsity. The game is still fast. They're not as physically strong as they're going to be. They're still learning, so there's a lot that goes into it. But at the end of the day, we didn't get it done. But as far as just showing up, and even with a good attitude, man, you go in the locker room, uh, these kids, they love each other. They go out and play hard. It's been a really good senior class. Like, very proud of those guys. Not what they wanted to end it with, but a lot of those guys are 4-year guys. So they've seen good, they've seen bad, they've seen great wins, they've seen tough losses, but they continued. They went through it all. So I guess the most positive thing is, if you allow it, like, you're going to take some things from this year as an individual, some things that are going to help you in your personal life as a football player, as a father, leader, husband, whatever you go into as a profession. Hopefully, you look back at this year like, you know what, like, that was a lesson I learned. And because most of these kids are not going to play football after
Mhm.
high school, some of them will, and the very, very, very few, if any, are going to go on and play on at the highest level on Sundays. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and hopefully they did. They taught me a lot, so hopefully they learned some lessons throughout this, that will pay off in the immediate and down the road.
You touched on that senior group, just in that answer there. They've been through a lot while wearing the green and white, like you mentioned. What can you say about the leadership and the example that they have set for the younger kids coming forward?
Yeah, I love them all. Again, a lot of those guys have been in the program 4 years. Um, it was good to see, Ty Moses finish out, back home. We got a kid's Albert Twiggs that, not a lot. He's not a household name, but Albert Twiggs has been in the program for 4
Mhm.
years. Like, football, this football team means a lot to him. At our last practice, uh, we lined up all the seniors and had every player go through and hug them, tell them they appreciate them, shake their hand, all that stuff. And so then I go through, and Twigs, again, a kid that doesn't play a lot. A lot of times he hasn't played at all. Man, he was one of the more emotional kids. Like, it means a lot for him to be a part of the
Mhm.
team. So, like, it's those things that when you look at the big picture, like, okay, that's like, there was an impact made. Like, this kid, it means a lot to him. That's what you want to see, regardless of records and what a kid can do on the field. You want to make sure that you take care of them. They're also enjoying it. Um, and regardless of, again, that kid always has a good attitude. Let's say a whole lot, but that was a special moment to see that. And then you look at the offensive line, which most of those guys have been here 4 years. I was speaking to Lorenzo Lee. Zoe, his freshman year, was offensive lineman wearing 70 something. Then he comes to his senior year, he's lost all that baby fat.
Yeah.
Now he's number 11
Yeah.
playing H back, and some defensive end, even gave linebacker a shot. You look at Slaughter, first year coming
Yep.
out, did a great job as a
Mhm.
kicker, on top of balancing being a golfer. And, so all of these seniors, Lou Jack, we've talked about Lou a ton. Sykes, just unfortunate that he had the injuries
Yeah.
that he had and couldn't finish out the year. Man, that kid gave everything that he had. So really appreciate this senior class, 15 of them. Some of these kids will have an opportunity to go and play at the next level. But as we told them, for a lot of them, like, this is it. Like, as far as organized football, like, last Thursday night was it. And so it's a hard pill to swallow, and that's tough. Um, but knowing those kids, they're going to be very successful with whatever avenue they go into, whether it's the workforce, military, they go to college. Like, it's going to be a very successful group.
That's one of the things I enjoy. With them doing the interviews, with them doing the player spotlights, where I remember like Lou Jack, where he's talking about, oh, here's my aspirations, but like with everything else, like I would like to own my own funeral home, and working
Yeah,
for Marcus Allen and all. And I was like, that's really insightful to see a young
it
man
is.
say stuff like that, because it's easy to say, okay, I want to play in the NFL, I want to go, run for 1,000 yards for UF,
Right.
FSU, UM, whatever your school of choice is here in the state of Florida, but to have that mindset to say like, okay, it's bigger than football. And let's be honest, coach, like you coach them for 4 years, the window they're a varsity player for you, but you're always going to be their coach.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I think is so cool about Suwannee football, like we get to see it every homecoming, like where everyone comes back together, the alumni comes back together, these players are going to tell you stories one day that you're going to have forgotten about, but it meant something to them. So
Yes.
you're always going to be there to coach, and you just like you said earlier, you just hope that they took something from this that's bigger than football.
Yeah, and that's why I got into coaching, growing up, following my dad and then seeing all of his former players, like just the way they interacted and how much they appreciated him. And the funny thing, like very few times did they talk about games or,
Mm-hmm.
a record or whatever. Like you talk about like funny moments or on the bus or just the relationship or time spent together. And that's the cool part. And so finishing my 10th year, a lot of those guys that I coached my first year, these guys are fathers
Yeah,
and they're business guys. They're doing a lot of really good things. And we've got guys playing at the collegiate level. Saw Big Josh Braun on TV this past
sure.
week in Kentucky. We followed Jaquez. You got Braxton Green and Andrew Brown.
MJ making plays as a true
MJ making
freshman. Yeah,
plays. Like, so it's fun to see the path that, once them guys get out of here. It's funny. I ran in, we ate pregame over in Tallahassee. My old strength coach at McClay, he came up there and met us. And while he was there, we FaceTimed one of our former players, kid named Matt Deal. And I had him my first 3 years. Well, this kid we FaceTimed, and he's in India. Like he was on a business trip in India. And so just he played at Georgetown, played a little bit of football, but just to see like these kids now 15, 20 years down the road, like you as a coach, you're very proud of just the men that they become,
hmm
of again what they do in their career as fathers. So that's really the cool piece. Doesn't take away we want to win, we want to win, we want to win. But in the big picture, when you get 20, 30, 40 years removed, like all that stuff is still fun to look back on. But man, you want to see these guys turn out and being productive and doing great things.
And I mean, just growing the roots and planting a young man. It starts here in Suwannee County, but I go back to Jaquez Moore. Like
Yeah.
he's going to get a degree or already has a
Got it.
degree from Duke.
Yeah.
That man, it don't get much better than that. You to go to Duke University, have a degree from there. You get to live out your childhood dreams, get to play college ball, get a little bit of NIL money whenever I buy your shirt, Quiz. So I hope you got that $40.
Yeah.
But I mean that's so cool that he got to live out his dreams. He played for
Yes.
Suwannee Bulldogs. Now he has a degree from Duke University, and he's set up to go on and have a very successful life from there.
Absolutely. And uh, there's a coach that's not at Duke. He was at Duke, is now Albany State, but he comes and recruits our kids now, and he always talks about Quez. He usually calls him when he comes on campus. He's like, Coach, if that kid ever needs a job, like he's got it.
Mhm.
You don't have to ask. Like I will hire this kid with whatever he wants to do because he's that type of person. It had nothing to do with the
Great young
player.
man.
It was just a person that he is. So Jacquez is going to do great thing. I think he'll get a shot on Sundays, but whatever he does, like he's going to be successful. And what you hope is that this generation here and these kids that are in high school, middle school now, they look at Quez and they, man, you
Mhm.
know what? Quez did that. Like Quez was right here in the same situation that I am.
Absolutely.
Quez isn't the biggest or the fastest, but man, he was determined. He worked hard. He was a great student, a great kid of character. And so now you look at the doors that have opened. Really, I mean, his football spoke for itself on what he did. But it's those other things that have taken him to this point and will continue to take him. So you just hope that these kids look at that and they follow and make a name for themselves and set a great path for themselves and their family down the road. So yeah, man, like there's there's a road to anything that you want to do right out this place. And we've seen our kids do it. We've seen other sports. We've seen just regular students go and do great
Mhm.
things. So there's so many opportunities that can come from right out of Live Oak.
Closing a chapter on this season and moving forward with next year. What do the next few months look like for you and your coaching staff just trying to get prepared for next season?
So we'll wrap this season up. We'll have the banquet and just put a bow on this one and put it behind us, and then we'll start to kind of we'll do exit interviews and we'll meet with every player. We'll evaluate just pretty much from top to bottom everything that we do on the field, off the field, things that we got to change, things we need to get rid of, things we need to add in. We'll clinic, we'll visit other staffs, just really every base that we can think of to cover. Like we're gonna go, we're gonna do that. And then you have your off season, strength and conditioning program. You have your other sports. A lot of these kids are already in basketball now. Soccer started up. We'll have baseball before baseball's gonna be started. So a lot of our kids are playing multiple sports, which I love. Like, go do something else. Like, go enjoy it. Um, but at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of work, and I mean, we're in a rebuild. Like, we have to get this thing back in the right direction. They voted today on the new setup for the FHSA layout. It's going to be, I think, six. I think the classifications may be the same. Um, Bigger districts is what they are hoping to get out of this. They've said that in the past, but we'll see. Um, we should know before Christmas what our district is going to look like. So whether we're in the same one or we move Jacksonville or south, I don't know. They always ping pong us
We're
around.
always we kind of end up
Yeah.
doing the same thing.
Yeah. So we'll see, and we get the schedule. Schedule's going to look different. I can tell you right now, schedule's going to look different. Especially, the district's going to be what it's going to be, but some of these other teams, you may not see them again.
Well,
But,
yeah, let's go ahead and dive into that. Come on, I mean, I know the FHSA is watching, so they might send you and AD Frank Allen a check in the mail. But they talk about it's almost like the old BCS system, if people remember that, where it's like
yeah.
it's a formula that no one really knows unless you wear like a tinfoil hat and lick your
Right.
finger the right way.
Yeah.
So they say that okay, you have good quality teams on your schedule, you're going to be rewarded for that. But then you kind of look at some of the rankings and see some of the teams that are high up there and who they're challenging themselves with, it doesn't quite match up. So it's like, okay, you say all this, you talk all this talk, but the results don't quite match that.
Yeah, that was a big complaint from a lot of coaches is the formula. Like, okay, like what is this? Yeah, we need to know because the previous formula that they used, like as coaches, we figured it out, and you could figure out where you're going to end up, what your
Mhm.
points are going to look like. But what they're doing now, nobody has a clue. There's no transparency.
I don't even know if they have a clue.
They don't. So if I read it correctly today, I believe that I guess the playoff standings are they're going to be more from the FHSA formula, and maybe I think that's going to be more transparent, where everybody knows, all right, this is how you get to your ranking, whether strength of schedule, opponent strength of schedule, everything that goes into it. So hopefully there's more clarity with that. Um, but we'll see.
FHSA they never changed their mind after they said something too. So as soon as you guys figure it out, I'm sure they'll send out some amendment to it, and we'll
Yes,
all be scrambling again.
yeah, and they really need to, like, let's stick with it. Whatever they do, let's stick with it instead of changing every 2 years. Everybody's not going to like it. Some people are going to be pissed off, and there's going to be a lot of teams that will go independent or the Sunshine Conference. So
Yep.
there's going to be a lot of movement. But whatever we do, let's just stick with it and something that makes sense, that makes scheduling easier. And so hopefully we have that in the works.
Well, something that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me that the FHSA has done this year. We've always had the traditional 1 through 8. They make the playoffs, but then they've had like this kind of like NIT to the March Madness bracket that they're kind of
Yeah.
coming out with. So I guess just for the uninitiated folks, just kind of let them know what I'm referring to with that, and let me get your thoughts on what that 9 through 16, I guess, bracket would end up looking like in your own opinion.
Yeah, so that's the Florida invite. And like I said, it's like the NIT in basketball tournament.
Which stands for not in tournament.
Correct.
I mean, at
It
the
is
end
what
of the
it
day,
is.
like you've never seen a team have a March Madness bid say, "No, I'm going to the NIT."
Yeah.
So
So it's a way for teams to continue to play. The FHSA, Craig Damon said this is also done in the interest of getting more kids involved, get more kids out for football because numbers are down. So getting more kids that what we might not make the playoffs, but we still have a chance to go and win something, with the Florida Invite. So last year they started it with the rural division. They had the top 16, and then the invite was the bottom 16. So this year they expanded it with classes 1A to 3A, taking the top 16 altogether. So the top 16 ranked teams are classes 1A to 3A, and then 4 to 7, I think it was the top 16 in there as well. And they'll have their playoff tournament. I think that was going to take place at the Villages. So I'm not going to knock it. Obviously we didn't do well enough to get in either one of them, But I think that's going to be something that continues down the road, and they're going to expand it. Um, again, giving teams more opportunities. A lot of coaches don't like it. A lot of coaches that get invited, they're not going to go.
Hmm.
Like, if we're not in the regular one, like we ain't going.
What's the point? Yeah.
But at least there's that option, because I think it was last year, uh, Dixie County. They had a rough start to the year. Ended up turning it around, got to the tournament, and they made it all the way till the championship game. And so for that program, that may have saved that program, because they were in a bad way. So there's always something for somebody. And again, we kind of live in that society of
Maybe like a young team, something like
right.
that, where it's like, it's almost like okay, let's just go full youth movement, where it's like, okay, yeah, seniors, juniors, of course, you're still part of this thing, but let's get these ninth graders, let's get these 10th graders a lot more reps, because
Right.
it's almost like an extended look, like a
It is.
preseason look or something, building towards the next year. So I guess there are some advantages to it, but I feel a whole lot more of it. We're going to be, if we're not in the actual one, then what's the point of going through all
Yeah,
this?
and there are those, and whether it's the pride or your preference or whatever the case is, some just are not going to want to do it. Especially, they may know their kids. You know what? If we're not in it, I know our kids. They're not going to want to go and do this, the B bracket, the B turn, whatever the invite. Um, just looking at an example with the rural division. So if you take, all right, do I want to be the 16th seed and be in that the official playoffs, or do I want to be in ranked 17th? Be in the invite, because if I'm the 16th seed, I'm going to play Bluntstown or Hokie, Madison. Like,
You
and
might have a running
you
clock.
probably know what that's going to look
Yeah.
like. But if I'm that 17th seed, I got a chance to maybe win this. So there's that dilemma there. Would you rather be at the bottom of that bracket or the top of the other? So, but that's where, I don't want to go down that road, but um, that's that's always, I guess, some decisions that, you know what, we want to be in the official one, and whatever that looks like this is a big step for our program. So
More coming up here on the Coaches Show.
From the shadow of the Rocky Mountains to the echoes of Red Rocks Amphitheater, we're deep in the heart of Colorado, where the Garden of the Gods meets the roar of Coors Field and the land runs wild with Elks and Broncos. But today we're bringing you a little Gainesville grit to the mile-high air. He's a former Gator, a Cleveland Brown, and most importantly, he started out as a Suwannee Bulldog. Bulldog fans, today we're joined by Hall of Famer Andre Davis. This is the Bulldog Bark. Hi, I'm Keith Hunter. This is the Bulldog Bark.
Bulldog Bark.
Man, it's been 10 years. I'm looking at my Bulldog Bark, just old interviews. And Andre, it was 10 years ago, November 2015.
Wow.
Where were you at 10 years ago?
Probably here.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely was here in Colorado. But shoot, 10 years ago, it seemed like so long.
My goodness, man. What year did you finish with the Bulldogs back?
97 was my last year.
Okay.
So, yeah, I graduated in June of 1997.
So,
Old head now, man.
28 years ago.
Old, right?
28 years ago. So in that 28-year span, okay, you graduated from Suwannee, you went on to Florida,
Yes, sir.
drafted in the NFL, Cleveland.
Cleveland, 2002, got drafted 2002, played in Cleveland 7 years. Came out here to Denver in 2009 and finished my career in Buffalo 2010 and 2011.
All right, and then you came back to Denver?
Yeah, so when I left Cleveland, we bought a house here in Denver and then played here 1 year. And then in the off season in Buffalo, we always flew back to Colorado, and we just made Denver home. It was a beautiful place. It is a beautiful place.
Right.
Great place to raise a family. School district's awesome, so we decided to stay out here.
You know, I went to a Denver Bronco game, a historical game it turned out to be.
And the crazy thing is, I was there and didn't know you was there.
Well, there you go. There you go. But anyway, speaking of that, one of the craziest games in NFL history.
Ever. That's the thing.
Right.
Like Steve Spurrier used to always say, just go. You got to bury teams,
Right.
and especially in the NFL. If you don't go out there and bury these teams, you give a team life. The game's never over.
Right.
And
Prime example, last Sunday when we were at the game, you know, Denver put up 33 points in fourth quarter, which is unheard of.
Right.
19-0 going into the fourth quarter, and everybody think it was over. I thought it was over. I left the game at the end of the third quarter, try to beat the traffic. I get home, come to find out, Denver came back and won the game. Crazy.
Well, that's awesome, though. But
History, though.
Definitely historical. But then the point I was making, I was in the stands.
Yes, sir.
And like you and I talked, you only played for the Broncos 1 year.
Yes, sir.
But you've been here since then,
Yes, sir.
for the most part. And I ran into a guy, and I was telling him I'm from Live Oak, and I say Andre Davis, and the guy remembered you. He said, yes, he was a good player. And that year you played here, you led.
I was third on the team that year in tackles. Third on the team in tackles. I had over 100. And 3 sacks. So I had one of my best seasons as an NFL linebacker here in Colorado.
Okay. And again, of course, I'll be remiss if we didn't mention your mom.
Yeah.
The great Miss Kathy Owens.
Yep. That's where I got it all from. Like, she is, I mean, I've heard so much about my mom.
Right.
I wish I could have seen a lot of her stuff. I grew up like in the BWAC days. So when she was hitting the softball, so I seen, you know, how powerful she was and how amazing of an athlete she was then. But, you know, as I hear stories from my uncles and you and other people, Coach Jackson, tell me how amazing she was, I can see it.
Yeah.
And I can also see it in my daughters. Right. And I know my daughters got it through that bloodline.
Right. You know, again, you know, let's transition there, but your mom's in the Hall of Fame, you're in the Hall of Fame. And then you're talking about your daughters. I see all the accolades your daughters have received. Just 3 outstanding young ladies. How do you feel about?
Super blessed. Yeah. Super blessed. You know, my wife, she did such an amazing job with them while I was out working and doing what I had to do to provide for the family. So we're super proud of them with the stuff that they accomplished on the athletic field, but we're more proud of them, of the young women that they turned out to be.
And your wife's from Live Oak as well, right?
Live Oak, yes, sir.
Who's your wife?
Leah Nietzsche, Monique.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been together 30 years, grew up together, kindergarten, all that stuff. So, yeah, she's definitely, you know, the best part of me.
Right. Okay, well, we move on here. Like I said, we're in Denver, man, and you've made yourself a part of the community. Like I said, I ran into some people who knew you and knew of you as well. So what are you doing in Denver these days?
Right now, it's just taking care of my body.
Right.
You know, 3-4 times a week is some type of treatment. I've had 13 surgeries. Wow. I need to get a hip replacement, a knee replacement. So when I'm not taking care of my body, I try to be in the community, try to help out. Do whatever I can. We try to donate or volunteer wherever we can. It's either that or, you know, hanging out with the fellas. Right. But like I was telling you earlier, I spend a lot of time with my family. Right. So me and my wife spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time with our girls. We have a granddaughter who's keeping us young.
Well, there you go.
It's been a blessing.
I like the gray beard, by the way.
Three daughters and a granddaughter.
Yeah, man. But man, definitely, man, you make Live Oak proud.
I'm so grateful to be born and raised in Little Live Oak, Florida. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I truly wouldn't. I've been fortunate enough to travel the world, to see a lot of stuff. I wouldn't trade my time in Live Oak for nothing in the world.
Right, but I'm sure Live Oak wouldn't trade you either.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
That's right. Yeah. And again, man, you've done some great things.
Thank you.
And there's still some great things left to do as well.
Yes, sir. It's not stopping. Right. It's not stopping, not until the good Lord calls us home. Right. So it's about shining our light, letting our light shine that God can get the glory. All right. So that's what it's about.
All right. Well, Andre, man, look. I'm flying out of here and getting back to Florida.
You're always welcome. Right. See, I told you this is the swamp.
Well, let's take a look at the swamp. The swamp here, and there's the swamp. I see you still still doing some lifting and everything.
You know, it's for show.
Right.
My girls, they use this, man. My body is so beat up. You know, it feels good to come down here and like break a sweat every now and then, though.
Right. Yeah. Well, man, look, man, it's always great catching up with you and.
And go Gators?
Go Gators. Woo. Okay, look here. My sister's in Gainesville, so I'm gonna let you have that one.
I'm gonna let you have that. State hat in my house. That usually don't happen.
All right. Well, look here, man. Andre, I've enjoyed my time with you.
Thank you.
And again, man, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep doing the great things you're doing, and as much as I'm proud of what you did on the field, I'm equally as proud of what you do off the field as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right.
Excellence in academic and clubs. Tradition, family, future. Foundations for lifelong learning. Leadership begins here. Careers start here. Curiosity meets opportunity. Building the leaders of tomorrow. Learning begins with love. One district, every student, every day. The Suwannee County School District, my choice for high quality education.
And welcome back into the Coach's Show. Coach, we just recently saw one of the most entertaining World Series I think you will ever get the pleasure of watching and or falling asleep while trying to watch some of those extra inning games.
Loved it.
Man, that was a lot of fun. I know people say, "Oh, they're the Dodgers are ruining baseball, this and that," but that was such a fun watch. And it's not like, in my opinion, on the Toronto Blue Jays, it's not like they're like lovable underdogs. Like they're still top 5 in payroll too. So it's
fun
not
to
it's
watch.
not like they're the Tampa Bay Rays from a few years ago that made like a deep run. But my goodness, just what a fun watch that was.
It was. I love October playoff baseball. One of my favorite things to watch. I think it's the nostalgia of back in the day when the Braves when they had their run and was Tim McCarver, I think, was the longtime announcer. But I've always loved playoff baseball, and this was the best. The playoffs as a whole were really good, but this was the best World Series that I can remember in a while.
It was incredible.
It was great. It was big games, long games. The clutch plays that were made just in that game 7.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and that's why I challenged our kids. I say, hey, man, go and watch some of these playoff games. Like every single pitch and at bat matters. Like every one of them. Like you can't fall asleep. Like the play at the plate. Like if his foot is if that foot is off the ground, the game's over. Or if the second baseman stumbles one more time and he doesn't get the throw, or the outfielder when they collided. Like there's so many big plays that could have won the game and gone for Toronto, but man, the Dodgers made the plays. And
it's funny you say it like that. It's like there's like a list of 4 or 5 plays, where if one of these 4, 5 does not happen, Toronto wins.
Yeah,
but all of them break the way that they broke. And I mean, even like going back to the center fielder and the left fielder colliding like they did, the center fielder was put in like 2 pitches before that.
Correct.
Like that's incredible. Just they talk about, the managers nowadays are just, calculators that sit there and say, oh, well, this based on this formula, based on this look, here's what we're doing. Like that's just an old school manager having a feel for the game, saying, no, I'm getting my guy in there because he's got a stronger arm, and maybe you got a different World Series champion if that manager doesn't make that move right there.
Yeah, Toronto was very fun to watch. And then you're watching one of the best in the world to maybe ever do it in Ohtani. Mookie Betts, one of the
maybe more than me. How you can explain that, but that's really cool. There's not much of a tie when you got Toronto facing LA and you're a little North Florida boy. But hey, Clayton Kershaw used to play for them Jacksonville Suns, so there's a little bit of a tie there.
And he was feeling no pain after the game, shirt off, like he's done,
living his best life.
He's dad life now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was already letting that body go a little bit too, man. Like, and good for him. He deserves it. But
yeah, man.
What a great World Series that was. Hey, we'll be wrapping everything up here on the Coach's Show right after this commercial break.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Van Carpet One. For 78 years, we've been your local family-owned and operated floor covering store, and we can't wait to serve you. Let's go check out some of the stuff we've got and say hey to the guys.
Hey guys, this is Michael Van here at Van Carpet One. Wanted to show you our huge display of carpet. Got about 1,000 rolls for you that we can order. We also keep about 100 in stock that are on clearance, so please come down and give us a visit. We appreciate it.
Come in and see the largest tile collection in North Florida. Van Carpet One has every tile you could possibly imagine. If you can't find it here, they don't make it. Guys, take a look at this. This is just some of our options in waterproof vinyl plank, where we have the largest selection anywhere around here, including over 70 pallets in stock, ready to go right now. Come in and see our fantastic selection of elegant hardwood too, followed up by fantastic service that you expect from a company like Van Carpet One.
Come on in and see us.
We can't wait to serve you. And that's a boom shakalaka.
You were there at the beginning. You stood behind me, guiding me through good times and bad, teaching me lessons I wouldn't appreciate until later, preparing me for the day when you couldn't be here. What you've given me, I'll carry wherever I go. And because of your planning, I know I'll go far.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Farm Bureau Insurance, serving Florida for over 70 years. In Suwannee County, you'll find Farm Bureau in Brantford and in Live Oak. In Brantford on Drain Street, phone 935-1274. And in Live Oak on Dowling Avenue, call 362-1274. Real service, real people, Farm Bureau Insurance.
Some free time.
And we're back here on the Coach's Show. You know, as we say, we might have a little bit of free time after this Monday night, Coach. I certainly have enjoyed it this entire season with you. It's
Absolutely.
always been a pleasure to be sitting here talking with you for an hour, just picking your brain a little bit. I know this season was probably tougher than any other season that we've had a chance to do this, but you're a professional as always, Coach. You got any final words for the fine folks watching?
Oh man, TJ, appreciate it. Again, it's great to talk about the wins, but you made talking about the struggle and just everything we've gone through. True professional, known you for a long time, buddy. I appreciate you. You're first class, and looking forward to more conversations down the road. Miss
Yes, sir.
Tammy, thank you. Sawyer, with your Arkansas hat, we appreciate you. Wayne just left the building.
Yep.
Great team, and man, what y'all have done in a short amount of time with everything here is incredible. So looking forward to what this next year is going to look like. But I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and hats off to everybody here. Thank y'all.
Yep, executive producer Tammy Neal, streaming producer Sawyer Brooks, you know, definitely top-notch operation over here. And like you said, Coach, to see how much this has grown in such a quick time frame. I
Absolutely.
mean, this is awesome to see. And we got more coming up here. You know, we do have a baseball season coming up here. So Swanee Baseball will be coming to you live on River Country Sports. So just wait a little bit longer until baseball season comes around. Head coach Billy Moran will be coming up here and doing some Diamond Dogs shows with Wayne Luttrell there. So again, just thank you as always, Coach, for your time, and thank you to the sponsors for making this broadcast happen, and thank you to all y'all watching at home and sticking with this entire season. And again, remember we got more baseball coming up here, so stick tuned to River Country Sports, and you'll see some more baseball coming up. I'm TJ Vickers. That's head coach Kyler Hall. Thank y'all for tuning in, and as always, go Dogs.